Top 10 dangerous places to live in the world. Number 10. The anomalous Lake Maracaibo in Venezuela. The highest concentration of lightning in the world occurs at the bizarre Lake Maracaibo in Venezuela. In this spot, on most nights, you can easily see lightning flashes over and over again. In the area around the lake, there are roughly 250 lightning flashes per square kilometer a year. During the right time of the year when the storm is really going, you can see up to 28 lightning flashes per minute. Interestingly, experts are unsure as to why this particular area is a hotspot for lightning. Right now, there is no solid theory to explain what is happening that anyone is willing to stake their reputation on. Number 9. The coldest inhabited village in the world. The village of Oymyakon in Russia is the coldest known inhabited city in the world. It is easily one of the most extreme environments you can choose to live. The temperature averages minus 55 degrees during the winter, something you probably can't even imagine dealing with. When asked how they deal with the cold, the locals credited vodka to their ability to deal with cold. Walking outside for a few minutes, even when properly equipped, can cause glasses to become stuck to your face, and cars that are turned off in cold will not turn back on. Being outside for just a few minutes without a proper gear could quickly lead to frostbite or death depending on how little gear you have. Indoor plumbing is pretty much non-existent due to frozen ground, so people use outhouses. Locals mainly consume raw meat and fish, washed down with liberal amounts of vodka, of course. Number 8. The Colombian village where children zip line across a canyon to get to school. In some places in the world, getting to school is actually quite a chore. In some poorer countries, kids walk miles every morning so that they can learn, but one small village in Colombia beats them all. Here the children actually do ziplining across a canyon every morning to reach their schools quickly from village. You can find it fun, but an average child or adult would be absolutely terrified, especially considering how little safety equipment they use. Number 7. Honduras, the murder capital of the world. Honduras is plagued with the worst kind of gang activities. Those who have money live in extremely tightly secured houses with private security that may as well be fortresses. Most people live in fear, and many people have to join gangs in some way or simply get killed. Many young people end up killed by gang violence regardless of what choices they make. Hundreds of young people die in gang wars every year, and less than 10% of the cases are even investigated at all due to lack of resources. This allows murders to continue unabated. Number 6. Flint, Michigan. Flint, Michigan has come to limelight due to lead-contaminated water and sky-high murder rates. The water was not only contaminated of poor quality but also caused corrosion damage to the already old infrastructure, worsening the contamination. Before the water crisis, Flint was starting to fall apart in terms of wealth, infrastructure, and pretty much everything else. In the recent years, Flint has either been the murder capital of the USA or been in the top 3 to 5. With gang activities ramping up, jobs continuing to disappear, and water problems not going anywhere, Flint may be the most dangerous city in America. Number 5. Life in a submarine. Many movies have romanticized submarines, especially classic like The Hunt for Red October. However, in truth, submarines are an absolutely wretched place to live in. They are incredibly cramped spaces with no view, no fresh air, and no variation in meals. There is nothing to talk about, no up-to-date television or news, and nothing from surface apart from occasional command updates. Many people start to go insane due to extremely feeling of isolation and loss of personal space, as everyone has to sleep in a tiny communal areas and no one has their own personal bed except the commander staff. While it is unlikely in peacetime for you to die on a submarine, having a bout of temporary insanity is not at all uncommon. Number 4. Astronauts come back from space with numerous health problems. Being an astronaut and going up into space sounds like an incredibly cool job to have. However, the truth is, being in space is incredibly taxing on the human body. Just being up for a few months will eat away the structure of your bones. The general rule of thumb is that for every month in space, you're going to need 2 months to recover your bone density. It may give returning astronauts serious low blood pressure for some time. It can also cause permanent damage to vision due to the strange way low gravity affects pressure on the eyes, among other effects. Number 3. Working and living on an oil rig. When people hear about a disaster like Deepwater Horizon, they think of the horrible environmental impact. The loss of human life was mostly forgotten in the media. The loss of marine life was talked about, but not much went into the fact that 11 oil rig workers went missing that day and were presumed dead. Working on an oil rig is incredibly dangerous. Life isn't much safer for oil field workers either, and especially in North Dakota's oil fields, things are not in good shape. The federal authorities are investigating safety standards after reports that there is roughly one accidental death every 6 weeks. Number 2. Cancer villages in China. All over China, the country is dotted with what some call cancer villages. They are so dubbed because within these villages, almost everyone knows a minimum of one person who has serious cancer. These villages are way too close to industrial plants and often have strange particles very visible in the air. Even living there for years, the citizens never get used to it. One journalist who risked going to these villages to talk to people found himself coughing up strange brown sediments after being there only a short time. Number 1. Snake Island. This island, known as Ilha Caimã de Grande, is owned by Brazil. The island is overrun by golden lancehead vipers, which is insanely venomous variety of lancehead only found in this particular island. They evolved with too many other snakes and too little of their regular prey. That forced them to evolve incredibly strong venom to take out more difficult foes. This venom can kill a human in under an hour, and that is from just one good bite. Some reports estimate that this island has at least one snake per square meter. This essentially means that in any given part of the island, you could look in any direction and see at least one snake a few feet away. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you enjoyed it, do like and share. Also feel free to leave your feedback in the comments below. You can find more similar videos on Living Hours, so don't forget to hit subscribe button. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.